Hey everyone, welcome to my Rising Rose. Today I'm going to channel a different dragon for you, one that for some of you will be a new dragon. If you're familiar with the way that I channel and dragons that come to me, then you'll know that the dragons of the Rising Rose represent 10 different chakras, not only in the human body, but just generally in existence. So in our bodies, we have the 7 colored chakras starting from the root and going up to the crown. And then there are also the black and white chakras. The black is, to me, the underworld, and it holds the lower chakras. And then the white is the overworld and deals more with the heavenly domain. And the white and black kind of flow together almost in a sphere holding the others. So what I'd like to do today is to channel Taixuan for you. Taixuan is the golden dragon of the Rising Rose. So she is the solar chakra dragon. Some people would say that the solar chakra is yellow. She's quite cheeky and playful, and she would definitely say that it's golden and would want you to know that she is golden, not yellow. And that's just part of her humor, but also I think there's a deeper truth to it. And just to let you know about her as well, and the dragons in general, they've all given me their name. And to me, quite a lot of it is mysterious. You know, if you're familiar with channeling or you've had any kind of experience with this yourself, you'll know that you're receiving downloads of information and it's flowing through you. And sometimes, for me, to my logical mind, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, I used to study medicine. I was planning on a career in psychiatry, believe it or not. Things have taken a shift. And I'm also, just to remind myself of this, I'm also a published scientific author. So I'm published on 2 papers which have been published in major scientific journals. I was very much a junior on those publications and in my career, but you know, it's still worth pointing out that I once was a man of science, and in some ways I still am. So I maintain my own skepticism. So even for me, I feel skeptical of the information that flows through me. And sometimes that's a good thing, because it allows me and you as well, if you're doing that, to maintain a kind of groundedness and okay, so this information's flowing through. This is interesting. These dragons have connected with me and they're telling me their names. Okay, that's cool. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. Maybe there's a part of me that's making this up. Maybe, you know, maybe there are issues to this. Maybe I shouldn't just kind of completely 100% throw myself in. So for me, there's like a part of myself that kind of, like the logical part of my mind that watches the situation more from the scientist I used to be, and is like, okay, we'll see. Let's say there's a golden dragon, and it's told you that when she first came to me, she said her name was Taixuan. I interpreted it in my mind as Taixuan. And I was like, okay, cool. It sounds kind of Chinese, and I get this like Chinese feeling from her, and she's a golden dragon, and she keeps emphasizing the fact that she's golden, not yellow. And then I'm looking at Chinese dragons, and like, they've got a lot of golden dragons over there. Just something about it all fit like that. And then just to tell you this story about how I understood her name a little more deeply. A friend of mine is a professor of religious studies in America, Eastern European religious studies, and I was talking to him about Taixuan. I told him this story about something amazing that happened related to her, and he was asking me about that. He was interested in it, and then he was like, "What's her name again?" And I was like, Taixuan. And he was like, "That's interesting." Like those 2 characters, Tay and Xuan, Like that's how an English-speaking person would pronounce two Chinese characters, but they're mispronounced. Like if you were pronouncing them in Chinese, it would be Taixuan, not Taixuan. It'd be Taixuan. And this definitely got my interest because I'm so curious about their names, and I want to know more. And it felt like this was an opportunity to know Taixuan more deeply. And he said that the two characters for Taixuan, Tai is like Tai Chi, and it could be translated to supreme. Just before I finish this story, I'm talking about the skeptical part of myself that's like, yeah, maybe I'm making all of this stuff up. Maybe I've just gone mad and I don't even realize it, and I'm high functional or something, And then, so I'm hearing Taixuan, and I'm like, okay, fine, that's cool. Like this is the phrase that we're going to use to interact with one another. You need like a name to indicate who you are. In my head, to the logical part of me, I'm like, well, even if it's real, that word doesn't mean anything. It's a nonsense word that just helps me identify this specific energy. So I didn't actually think that it would actually mean anything in a language, like a human language. I just thought it was a kind of, at best, like a useful pointer. And then my friends, this professor of religious studies, of Eastern religious studies, and then he's telling me that it means Tai Xuan. And Tai means supreme. And Xuan is a character that can be found in the book the Tao Te Ching, and that's one of the first spiritual books that I started to actually pay attention to, like many years ago, and especially the first chapter. And he was saying it's from the first chapter, and Xuan could be translated in lots of different ways, but in the context of that piece, it's talking about the mystery. And specifically the mystery of the unity between the unmanifested and manifested worlds. That the Tao is said to be the unmanifested. And many spiritual traditions will point towards the unmanifested reality as where we're supposed to put our attention. And sometimes they can then ignore or undervalue the relative world, the regular world that we usually live within and are identified in. But what is being said by Lao Tzu, the author of the Tao Te Ching, in the first chapter of that book, is there is actually a mystery that unites those two realms, the realm of the Tao, the realm of the nameless, formless, and the realm of the regular reality. And the name of that he uses is Xuan. So I think, if I'm quoting this accurately, he says the mystery of mysteries of mysteries. And each time he says mystery, he says Xuan, Xuan, Xuan. So Taixuan. Taixuan. So of all of the nonsense words that I came up with in my head, according to my skeptical mind, it just so happened that those syllables that came out of my mouth mean the supreme mystery in Chinese. So there you go. So there's a little bit of a backstory about her. I've gone into quite a lot of detail, and I don't intend to do a really long channeling. I've already done some channeling work today, and I don't want to overwork my system. But I am going to bring her through anyway, along with this introduction to her. So Taixuan, I'm going to channel her for you now. She's the solar Chakra Dragon. She's the golden dragon of the rising rose, and she has a strong connection and affinity to China. while I'm channeling and bringing her through, I recommend that you just relax. I don't recommend that you listen to this while you're driving. This is probably just me being overly cautious, but there's a the way the energy comes through, it can have a sleepy effect. And I don't want anyone to get sleepy while they're driving, or if you're operating heavy machinery while you're at work, all of those things. So if you're doing that, stop doing those things first, and then come back to this video and listen to it. So you can listen to it. I recommend just sitting down somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed, and somewhere you can relax, because even though I talk in quite a casual way, and I like that, and I am intentionally like this, the whole time that I'm speaking to you now, I'm actually transferring spiritual energy to you. And that could be missed because of the casual way that I'm talking. But the sensitive among you will be able to feel it anyway. And to me, I would rather be like this, where we can speak to one another, human to human, and it be nice and ordinary and grounded in our regular consciousness, even if we're talking about things which are pretty out there, like dragons and spiritual awakening and all that stuff. I would much rather, for my own sake, remain in my humanity, and also for yours, because I think there's too much emphasis put on the inhuman or the impossible to attain. And sometimes I've seen people, like spiritual teachers, who are either put on a pedestal, or putting themselves on a pedestal, or unconsciously putting themselves on a pedestal, or just there's a lot of kind of dramatic kind of style around everything, which for me takes away from the groundedness of our ordinary humanity. And my teacher Fran was a big believer in that, and the lessons I received from her, which were the most valuable, I think, were her just helping me be an ordinary human being, even though I was going through all of this crazy stuff, meeting angels and having all these mystical experiences that people have written about in books for thousands of years. It's really important that we remain human and grounded. So I'm already transmitting this energy to you, and you'll be able to feel that if you're sensitive. If you're not sensitive to it, that's fine. Everybody who opens up to this stuff in their own way, in their own time, it's absolutely fine. I've become much more sensitive to it over time, and can pick it up much more readily now than I ever used to be able to. So if you're not feeling something, don't feel bad about that. It's something that can come online later. And if you're listening, especially if you're listening and you're letting your mind relax, you'll still be receiving the energy. It's just you're not aware that you're receiving it, or you might be missing the signs that you're receiving it. But I could talk more about that another time. I've gone on enough already. I'm going to channel Taixuan. Okay, here we go. Gayan kadayo nur. Shi analayo kuitayana. Right. I'm still tuning myself in. One moment. I'm still tuning myself in. One moment. Jack's wanting to rush ahead because he's like, I've been talking too long. This video's too long. So I'm just making sure that the connection is well established before we go too far in. So I am Taixuan. Golden Dragon of the Rising Rose. For those of you who are interested in astrology, my primary sign would be Leo, if I were like you. If I were human, I would be a Leo. So that can give you an indication as to my energy, what I'm like. Please bear in mind that I am this vibrant, playful being, very childlike and free. And I am channeling myself through Jack, who has many wonderful gifts and talents and aspects of his personality that are fantastic. And he doesn't need to be any other way than what he is. He's exactly what he needs to be. I'm very grateful to him because I could not interact with human consciousness as easily without his support. However, he is not so much this playful Leo type. So my energy, I'm not fully expressing myself through him. I am in some ways constrained by his personality and his energy field. But I suspect that those of you who are well attuned, and many of you who find this video, of course, will be well attuned to energies in general and to dragons specifically, will be able to feel who and what I am. Now, I just want to mention something that we all who channel through Jack mention many times. That our words are the least important part of our message that we bring to you. It's not to say that they're not important. They have their value. But the really important part is actually the energy that I'm bringing in. This is where all the information is. The knowledge. Knowing. To know. Now, I haven't come here to give you intellectual information that your mind can dissect and analyze, though it may, and it's welcome to. I've come here to give you your knowledge back. I've come here to give you your knowledge back. Why am I phrasing it like that, and what am I talking about? One moment, while these sirens go by, you may be able to hear them. Jack lives on a busy street in the heart of Berlin. We asked him to come here. I won't go into that now, that's for another time. So knowledge. The reason I'm framing it this way is because what I want to do is return to you what has always been yours. So many of you are struggling with the ups and downs of life. Life can feel difficult and hard at times. And the main reason for that is actually a lack of knowledge. And I'm not talking about intellectual understanding, as many of you know. It's self-knowledge, which is spiritual knowledge, mystical knowledge, knowledge of the supreme mystery. I'm downloading this information into Jack's body and mind and radiating it out through his form, which is why sometimes his eyes bulge a little bit when I'm downloading something a little larger into his system so that I can radiate it out to you. I just felt him noticing that and wanting it to be acknowledged. I bless him. It's a lot for his system to hold. And I'm expanding his knowledge every time I flow through him. And I also expand yours. You know, I'm using all these words and I could go down some intellectual loopholes. I could talk to you about knowledge like a wise professor and tell you this and that and satisfy certain aspects of your mind and certain expectations that you may or may not have. But to be honest with you, I would much rather sing and dance, though I will not be allowed to because Jack won't let me. I could sing and dance and transmit to you the wonders of who you are. In fact, I would do it far more effectively, though the way that I'm sharing how I would like to do that with Jack is a definite no-no for him. If I were in the body of a dancer, it would be different. But I can do it well here anyway. What I'm doing is shining the light of our being. I keep speaking words because I know that some of you will need to hear them. Your mind would be unaccustomed with me just sitting here in silence and would start to protest. And Jack's voice is useful because its soothing quality allows there to be a relaxing down from that more energized part of the mind, which can cause your attention to shift down from the over-energized part of thinking and analyzing and figuring out, down into the heart and down into the solar plexus. If you do not know, the solar plexus is that place below the heart, below the heart, where your ribs meet. If you're going right down the middle of your body, there's a place where your ribs kind of stop. The place where your ribs stop. There's a little area there. It's your solar plexus. It's connected to your sense of identity and healthy self-esteem. It's where you shine like the sun. It's where you know unashamedly who you are as this human being and your purpose in this life. So you radiate yourself out like there with joy. You do so from a healthy pride, a healthy self-esteem. You do not see yourself as superior or inferior to others. You simply are who you are, and you know that this is who you are meant to be, and you shine. Oftentimes, shame comes into this place and constricts it. There is confusion because you are taught that you are supposed to not be the way that you are. You are supposed to be the way that other people tell you you're supposed to be. This is an unfortunate madness. You are supposed to be who you are. Anything else is insane. Now, I'm not saying many words, and I'm not going to say many for the next few minutes, because what I'm doing is a direct energy transmission from my essence to Jack's solar plexus through to yours, if you wish to receive it. The fact that you're here, I assume that you wish to receive the energy and the guidance that I put forward. If you do not, then you may turn this video off. You are in control and you are sovereign in your life. So if you stay, I assume you wish to receive this. I'm shining the light of the central solar chakra, the solar chakra of the cosmos. I'm shining it to you so that your body, your solar chakra, can remember the purity of that place. And bathing in the purity of this solar chakra, the cosmos can release what you've been holding. Other people's opinions, other people's expectations of you. So that you may see yourself clearly and shine with pride as the being that you are. Can you remember that you are this spacious reality here and now? Can you remember that you are that in which all things arise and subside? That you are nothing and everything. If you can, dear friend, then you know that what is speaking is none other than yourself. that I am you as a dragon and you are me as a human. That we are looking into a mirror. Remember my face, for it is your own. Take your time with the energy that I'm bringing forward to you. For some of you, this will be unfamiliar, and to those especially, I thank you for being here. Because you are remembering. You're remembering who you are, and if the energy that I send forward to you is challenging for you, then that is a sign that you are especially courageous for being here, because it requires a leap of faith and a challenge that those of you who are more experienced are not being faced with. And to those of you who are more experienced, then I welcome you. I welcome you to feel what I share, for us to enter into unity together once more. You have your part to play in the great return of humanity's consciousness back to the cosmic family. You have my support. So thank you all. I will not bring Jack back. Just not at this moment. I don't mean to be too dramatic. I don't mean never. I will not bring Jack back at this moment, and he doesn't want to come back right now anyway, you know. Just so that it's so that it's easier for his mind. I will say goodbye to you now. So I trust that you go in peace with the knowledge that I share with you. I trust you know what to do with the knowledge that I give to you. I trust that you are empowered enough to take rest if you need it from receiving this transmission, or to be active and allow your body and mind to move in response to this transmission. I am not here to micromanage your life. I am no guru. I am here to give you what you need so that you may use it in your own empowered way. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing me, for receiving the knowledge that I share, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. For now, goodbye. Though, if you would like to continue working with us, with the dragons, we will be running another group of dragon medicine in September. So if you do not know, dragon medicine is a initiation that we planned almost straight away when we started working with Jack. In fact, we had planned it before we ever made contact with Jack. That's partly why we made contact with him, because we knew that we wanted to do this. And what it is a full initiation into us, into our consciousness, which is of course your consciousness. So it's just a reminder for you of who you are, and to allow you to unfurl into the incredible wonder of who you are, with each of the dragons taking a full month to work with you, so that you have time to really work with their teachings. You can read more about it in the description below. We currently have 2 groups running, and the next will be beginning in September, and you can find out about that in the links below. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Goodbye for now.